Welcome back to the Signs of the Southland podcast presented by From the Rumble Seat. I am your host, Akshay, and joining me live today from the basement of the MRDC building, I don't know why I have building there, is Jake Grant and Cade Lawson. How are y'all doing tonight?
Why do you call everything the basement of the building?
Because we're in the basement.
No, the basement is below this floor.
There's a window right there.
This is the second floor. The first floor is below us.
I don't know how to build buildings. I'm a CS major.
I've got a chunk of the lane line. That's cool.
What?
Have you never been to a swimming pool before? Yeah.
I mean, yes, but also why?
It was on the floor in the locker room, so it's mine now.
We have strange children here From the Rumble Seat.
Children.
But, Jake.
Been here longer than you have.
That's not true at all. Jake, please tell us about Non-rev sports while you're fondling that lane line.
So non-rev sports, there weren't as many in action this Halloween weekend. The ones that were lit. I can't even do this. I'm sorry if anybody read Yellow Jacket Roundup this week. That hurt me to write. And
No, it didn't.
Very
No,
sorry.
don't listen to him. He enjoyed it, which is the sad part. It's the saddest part of all.
My midterm that was supposed to be today got moved to Wednesday. So I had an hour and a half that I was going to be productive, and instead I did that.
He leaned very heavily into the millennial memes.
If you learned a thing or two about millennial slang, then you're welcome, and if not,
Technically.
then you didn't miss out on much.
Technically, it's Gen Z slang. Technically.
Those millennials trying to take our jobs and our terms. But yeah, let's get that bread.
God, I hate you.
Anyways,
this is why you don't let people born after 1997 record on your podcast.
Actually, it'd just be you talking in an empty room without the three of us. But anyways,
I'm fine with it.
I'm sure you'll get Kiefer again someday soon. Non-rev recap. We had cross country up in Jamaica Plains, Massachusetts.
Jamaica.
Yeah, no, it's not that exotic.
It's Massachusetts. It sucks.
It's boring
Is
and cold.
Massachusetts the opposite of exotic?
It's
Like I said, it sucks.
roast. The Georgia Tech of the North was not competing, sadly, but Boston College and the rest of the ACC were there. It was a little bit of a disappointment for the Jackets, who the women were ranked in the top 25 most of the year, but they came in just a couple points behind 6th place Duke to finish in 7th, and the men finished in 11th, again, in that kind of middle pack of teams. Neither were in the bottom tier, neither were in the top tier, so, I mean, you finish in that like 5 to 10, 5 to 11 range. There's not a lot of variance in that, but I mean, it was pretty good running. Coach Drosky said it best that the first third of the race wasn't great to them, but they came back strong, so that's good. Their averages weren't very far behind the leaders, so that shows lots and lots of good depth, and especially the women's team, which again was ranked most of the year, is fairly young, so that'll be exciting for next year. But they've got NCAA regionals in a week, so we can look forward to that. I'm rambling now. But quick hit at women's tennis. The Racket Jackets were up in Nashville. They did pretty well. It was a June Stewart tournament. You got Texas Tech, which was a very highly ranked team last year, and Vanderbilt as well that they were able to play against. Vanderbilt is the team that beat us in the Final Four, so you're not going to get much better competition than that. Losing a couple games against them isn't the worst thing in the world, but an upset would have been nice. It's tough when you're the third best team in your conference and the fourth best team in the country, but such is the life for the best team on the flats. We'll see how they actually look against conference competition come January when they're back with the MLK Invitational at Michigan to kick off indoor season and then the actual spring slate. So it was a pretty good fall for them. They got a lot of freshmen kind of working them into the mix. Akshay's nodding his head.
In approval.
Rare approval, but I'll take it. We're missing Ethan tonight, so you get a lot of me talking.
Unfortunately.
It is unfortunate. And then volleyball, our last non-rev sport of the weekend, went 2-0.
It went well. It went so well.
After surprisingly disappointing. I think it's fair to call what's happened so far in conference disappointing for them, right?
I agree. I agree.
Yeah. They're 4-8 in conference now, but they are on a 2-game winning streak against an team in NC State who they swept, and a bad bad UNC, University of No Class, UN Cheats, whatever you want to call them, Tar Hole team of
Woof.
volleyball. But they went 3-2. It was a comeback win. Those build character. Michaela Dowd played out of her mind.
Michaela Dowd from Chicago, Illinois, we might add.
Yes.
Freshman Michaela Dowd from Chicago, Illinois.
Dominique Washington, also from Chicago, Illinois, had a couple great blocks. I think she's from Chicago. I just don't remember what school.
I think he's just making sure his favorites are from Chicago at this point.
That may or may not be true, but Mariana Brambilla, of course.
She's definitely not from Chicago.
She's not. She's from Brazil. She played well too. It's good to see them growing as the season goes on. I don't know what our odds are to make the tournament right now, but there is no ACC conference tournament. And in our last, I believe, we've played 12 games so far, so like 6-ish games on the schedule. We play Pittsburgh, who is ranked number 5 in the country twice. So I'm not exactly enthralled by our chances to finish out the season on a gigantic win streak. But hey, there's build character. We've got a really, really young team. Only Lauren Furking is graduating off the main starting looks. And that was pretty good. In other sports news, we got baseball this weekend. Can we not talk about baseball, guys?
No, you're talking about baseball. I just want to see you suffer a little bit.
This isn't suffering for me. This is suffering for everybody. We shouldn't lose to community colleges. I don't care who it is or how far.
In their defense,
it
it was a 12-inning. Exhibition. You got rotating in the. You're rotating in the lineup like
10 scoreless innings by the pitching staff. But
18 at one point. 18 in a
19
row.
Strikeouts. 18 strikeouts.
I don't know. No. Retired in a row.
Okay.
By
by
both of the freshmen.
Oh, that's
I want to say it was Rodig
So
and
I don't know. I was on the flats.
Bartnicki.
They
Bartnicki.
would not let me into the Georgia Tech Auburn closed scrimmage or whatever was going on at the Auburn
Yeah, it was a
arena.
closed scrimmage.
Yeah, there was lots of cars, and I was like, oh gosh, I think we're here.
We were.
Yeah, no. Next time that From the Rumble Seat becomes a food blog again, I will be writing a review of Toomer's Corner. So yeah, look out for that. Boo Auburn. Is that what I'm supposed to say? Boo Auburn. Yeah, I don't like Auburn.
I'm fine with Auburn as long as they
Auburn.
win coming up here against Athens Community College.
In the Deep South's oldest rivalry, not to be confused with the South's oldest rivalry.
And not to be confused with the other South's oldest rivalry.
Remember when we played Auburn every year? I don't. I was negative.
2006, my dude. It was a great year.
No, 2005. We beat them in 03 and 05, and that's not every year. I meant 87. But
Okay,
good
Mr.
try.
92 on a traditions test.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
Anything else you want to add on the non-revenue sports?
I'll plug review really quick. Go History. If you're not into that, there will be a good Hate Week column coming up, so keep an eye out for that, but that's not for about 3 weeks. But if you've got any features you want to see, let us know, because I haven't planned past November, and I want to write what you guys want to read. So that's
Jake's
my
really
shameless
bad at
plug.
planning. We'll take that awkward silence as an acceptance of his fate.
I had meaner things to say, but then I just got sad when I thought about them. So, yeah, good times.
Womp womp.
All
Anyway,
right.
let's talk about the happier stuff.
Ooh,
Virginia Tech.
that was a
Mr. Cade,
game.
Mr. Lawson, I believe you have a lot of thoughts on this game, especially because your famed, esteemed colleague, Mr. Tobias Oliver, was the
Colleague.
starting quarterback. I don't know why I called him colleague.
Peer, maybe.
Peer,
goes
redshirt
to
freshman.
school with
Yeah,
us.
he is redshirt freshman. He is
Yeah.
Cade's age. He's a peer.
Oh, he's my peer. Hey, buddy.
But yes,
Tobias, if you're out there, Cade Lawson,
I'm sure he's out.
you really just need
big
to
supporter.
You really just need to sign something of Cade's, and I think Cade will be set for life.
Send him a fruit basket.
Yeah.
No, a Derek Jeter basket.
But yeah.
It's
Fruit
not a.
basket.
He didn't just send a fruit basket. It was a gift basket. There's a lot of stuff in there.
Edible
Have you ever referenced
arrangements.
to that?
They're very tasteful. They're very tasteful.
Interesting. No. But yeah. So final score from Blacksburg, Virginia, and Lane Stadium.
Lane Stadium.
Georgia Tech 49, VPISU 28. Tobias Oliver time was awesome. 215 total rushing yards, 3 touchdowns. Passing is absolutely overrated. Georgia Tech only ran the ball. They tried to pass once and didn't go so hot. But 465 yards on the ground and 7 touchdowns. The offensive line played great, but the defense was. But
They were not that bad. They got better. They were not that bad. They only allowed 323 yards. That's really good.
I can't tell if you're being facetious or
I'm
not.
not being facetious at all this time. I usually am, but that's really good.
All right, Cade, what are your thoughts on this game?
If
Give me an
you're
overview of this
If you're
game.
a college team and you're holding a conference opponent under 400 yards, you're doing a good job. Especially if you're under 350. 323 is a very good job.
I mean, what are your thoughts on this game?
Virginia Tech was pretty efficient in their touches. In
They
the
just
first
didn't
half.
have a
They
lot
just
of
didn't have a lot
plays.
of them.
I'm just wondering.
We ran out the clock a lot.
It was death march after death march after death march, and it was awesome.
Would one of y'all remind me who founded the Tobias Oliver hype train?
Matthew Cade Lawson.
Hey, yes it is. That was me. I did found the Tobias Oliver hype train.
It's got his name on it right on the front grill.
I claim credit for that, just forever. The offense looked really good. It's not going to continue to look really good if they don't open it up a little bit more. Because I think the number was he ran 6-ish plays and kept the ball himself over 40 times, which is not sustainable at all. Virginia Tech's a better defense than we've played in weeks. I think it's better than Duke. I don't know why, Bud Foster's never ready for the backup quarterback situation that we keep throwing at him, where they just run veers and inside quarterback follows and like 1 rocket toss or 2 rocket tosses that always go for like 20 yards.
Rocket toss.
Yeah.
It's
Rocket toss is the most exciting play in sports. Hot take.
It works. I mean, if you're gonna get stomped, at least make your opponent complete a pass. And they didn't at all. Tobias was 0 of 1 passing.
0 of 1 passing for 0 yards.
It's a 0 QBR, guys. Not good. Not good.
Yeah, but
It
Tobias
was
is
an
basically
efficient
an
0
A-back.
for 1.
There you go. See, that's the spin zone we're looking for.
I don't know. Tobias is a pretty efficient A-back.
They don't call me the proper.
He's an A-back with an arm.
Anyway, our
That's what they
leading
said about
receiver,
Taquan, too.
leading receiver was numbered dash with 0 yards. Tobias was the leading rusher, obviously 315 yards.
What was 315?
215.
215.
I mean, I was going to say and 3 touchdowns.
315 is getting up there in Eddie Lee Ivory territory.
Yeah.
Boo.
Shout out Eddie Lee. Good job.
But yeah, it's
1928.
not sustainable for him to carry it 40 times. He's going to get hurt or tired, and people are going to adjust. I'm not convinced that he's completely inept at running the offense, as Paul Johnson apparently thinks he is, by refusing to let him run anything.
Complex plays. I mean, he didn't really run anything out of the triple option formation.
He didn't let Taquan adjust at the line until this year, though. So
Yeah, and it was bad last year, and then continued to be bad this year.
If you can't tell, Cade really doesn't like Daquan Marshall.
no, Cade really likes Tobias. Positive spin zone.
I like everybody. I just like winning, and like the
Okay,
we haven't
Charlie
won for
Sheen.
2 years. Hey, whatever.
Eh.
Haven't won for 2 years. There's what I was saying like 2 days ago is there's 4 options. You can run Tobias out there with a limited playbook, run Tobias out there with the full playbook, or do either of those 2 things with Taquan Marshall. And it just sounds like there's one bad option out of those 3 options, and it's the one that we do, which is to run Taquan Marshall out there with the full playbook and lose every week.
Hey, half of our games.
That's every week.
Well, 4 out of 7.
That's basically every week. I mean,
Positivity, Mr. Lawson.
let teams adjust to the limited playbook. Why are we talking about making changes when people haven't made changes to what we're trying to do to adjust? We're literally doing their job for them. We're adjusting for them to go back to things that they can already stop. So either run Tobias with the limited playbook, run Taquan with the limited playbook, or let Tobias try to run the whole offense, because running Taquan Marshall with the whole offense doesn't work and hasn't worked and won't work.
I still like Taquan. I like Tobias. I'm not convinced that Taquan's terrible. I do think you play your hot hand, though. And right now, just like he should have played the hot hand at USF, I'm giving you that. Right now, Tobias, it's not just a hand. The cards are on fire, Cade. Like, play Tobias. I don't care, but don't take away what Taquan has done. I think there's been an improvement in the culture around the team with him as a captain. Do you remember how toxic it was last year? There was a freaking fight in the locker room, Cade.
Videotape fights in the locker room.
It was on TMZ.
Yeah.
That's not a good look for the
Hey,
program.
TMZ Sports is a reputable media institution.
would rather have a bad locker room that wins.
Last year they didn't win, though. They didn't win.
Why didn't they win?
Mr. Lawson, it's not always just on the quarterback.
Hot hand. Taquan was the hot hand last year.
Win.
Tennessee.
I think that's the thing, though. We always go back to the Tennessee game as a sign of Taquan's potential, but it goes back to something that you were talking about a few weeks ago. We are so enamored by Taquan because of what we saw in his first appearance in white and gold that we don't necessarily see the other benefits or the benefits of other options that we have in front of us. And maybe this is a sign of the times, and Paul will come out and start Tobias next week at UNC, which we'll get to in a bit. But I don't know. Maybe are we doing the same thing with Tobias here, having a breakout performance against VT? That's the thing that I'm a little bit afraid of.
I don't know why y'all are acting like I hate Taquan Marshall. I don't think he's a bad quarterback or a bad player.
You think he's a good A-back?
I think that Paul Johnson is not putting him in any kind of position to succeed because he keeps letting him run plays that he's not comfortable running, which is weird to me that he lets him run those plays and then refuses to let Tobias attempt to run those plays. It just feels disingenuous. But he's a fine player. He's played well for us for a long time as an A-back and then a quarterback and then an A-back again or whatever his path was. We could have him for another year, actually, but they burned his red shirt for no reason in 2015.
Tobias? Or you mean Taquan?
Taquan.
Yeah.
Yeah. We're talking Taquan right now.
TQM,
Sorry,
baby.
I zoned out.
But yeah,
I'm looking for a stat.
there's nothing wrong with him. I don't think that a lot of the times the way Paul Johnson plays, calls games with him, puts the team in any kind of good position to win. Even if it is a limited playbook, we've seen that Tobias Oliver running that playbook. And honestly, probably even Taquan Marshall running that playbook because it's less the quarterback and more the type of plays that the offensive line can't block, first of all, and that both quarterbacks apparently struggle to make reads on, second of all. So people keep telling me that teams are going to adjust, but you got to let them adjust first or you're doing their job for them, which is dumb.
I think we'll see. We'll see who Paul wants in the driver's seat when we kick off at UNC this weekend.
We know who he wants in the driver's seat. He'll always want the older guy in the driver's seat.
Yep.
He's always done that.
What stat are you looking for?
Just something. Don't worry about it. I'll say it when it's relevant.
But the thing is, we're gonna move on to talking about the UNC game, and you're just gonna.
Cade can talk about Tobias Oliver until the sun comes up again. Like, I'm not concerned about that moving on. Yeah. There's
Find your stat.
I can't find the record.
Waiting.
'Cause I don't want to just talk out of my.
At least give us some context here.
Wasn't Taquan's rushing at Tennessee the highest single game performance of the
Yes.
last 2 years?
No, highest single game performance by a rushing quarterback in Georgia Tech history.
Yeah, no, but I mean of the entire. Wasn't he the leading FBS single game rusher last year?
I don't know about that one.
I thought I read that somewhere, but I can't find Ramblin' Wreck because Ramblin' Wreck.
He was great.
Hey, the site redesign is great. It's just you can't search anything on there anymore.
Yeah, no, I was looking at AJC instead.
He was great in that game, but he ran the same limited playbook and had success.
And Tennessee also turned out to be #not good.
I thought we were seeing 2 top 10 teams there. I'm not gonna lie to you.
I mean, it looked like a good game, to not necessarily open up Mercedes-Benz Stadium, but really inaugurated
open it up in our hearts.
Yeah, open it up in our hearts. And it's one of those games where we became enamored with the potential that Taquan had. My fear, like I said before, is are we doing the same thing with Tobias's performance in this game?
All right, so here, I've got your stat for you right here.
Okay.
He broke 3 school records in the performance against Tennessee. Most rushing yards by a quarterback. The previous high was 199 by Eddie Prokop.
Prokop?
Yep.
Most rushing touchdowns of any position. The previous was 4, set by Tevin Washington, and a loss to Middle Tennessee State, tragic. And the most rushing attempts, which was 39. So Tobias actually broke those too. I don't think he
also won
Oliver's-
ACC Co-Rookie of the Year.
Oliver's 2015 rushing yards were the most by an ACC player this season. There's something I was looking for. Couldn't remember if Daquan was the most by an ACC rusher last season.
He also set the ACC record for rushing yards by a quarterback and beat Lamar Jackson.
Well,
Rip.
Third highest total in Georgia Tech history for rushing in a game.
Interesting.
Eddie Lee. Yeah.
Eddie Lee Ivory.
Eddie Lee Ivory. I know that.
Get the last name. Come on. Points off. You stand when they stand.
Oh, you stand when they stand.
Right. Talking about UNC.
THFL.
Oh,
UNC?
UNC is so bad.
UNC.
They are so bad.
How's that line only -5?
I have to throw my caveat, which is they're so bad, but kind of we are too. Like this is going to be
Dumpster fire next to trash.
I don't. Larry
Wait, Akshay,
Fedora's
there's a
offense-
dumpster on fire next to your house?
Man,
Got him.
I'm not the one that lives next to the south side of Chicago.
Oh, got him too.
I live on the west side, but in a bougie neighborhood, so thanks. Yeah.
Next to the south side of Chicago, it sounds like. Anyway,
What was I
Cade.
saying?
Banter.
UNC bad.
Oh yeah, they.
Georgia Tech also meh.
Larry Fedora's offense has always bothered.
Noted neurologist.
Excuse me. Dr. Fedora's offense has always been giving us issues. They will continue to do it this year because our inside linebackers and our outside linebackers have both struggled a lot this year, and those are really key guys for stopping this
Spread.
spread offense that has currently a left-handed quarterback, which bothers me just aesthetically.
But he relates to the youths, guys. Have you not seen all
He's
his
trying to
social
defend
media
American
content?
honor.
His abs are dreamy. But yeah, he's going. I don't think they'll fire him actually either because his buyout's so big. But they've won one
Where did he
game.
come from?
What is with the ACC and giving out huge contracts?
Southern Miss,
Ugh.
University of Southern Mississippi.
What is with the ACC and doing these weird buyouts? Because it's the same thing as Petrino.
It makes a lot of sense, really, because they can't offer the same amount of money as bigger schools. And so the way they make up for it is by saying, if we ever have to fire you, well, first of all, we won't fire you, so you have like infinite job security because you can't afford it. But second of all, if we do, you'll get paid a lot of money.
This is the headline I was looking for. North Carolina football coach Larry Fedora tries way too hard to be hip for recruits in goofy video. This man has a history of being an idiot. So I don't know if we should.
My dude, ACC Media Day. I think
I know that, but
Noted-
who takes him seriously anymore?
he's a noted neurologist. I think we should take him at face value.
Is that what the hell is that, Cade?
It's Larry Fedora.
That's lit. Who's with him?
Boy, I don't know who's with him.
All right, stop looking at Google Images. Don't be weird.
Where'd you get beach photos of Larry Fedora from?
I looked up Larry Fedora.
That's
That's fair enough. That's
fair.
That's a legitimate answer. and
Incredibly
I can accept
fair.
that.
Incredibly
I can
fair.
accept that. That's good enough for me. So I will accept it without asking further questions. What was I gonna say? I don't know. Oh, Keenan Memorial Stadium, which has hedges next to it. I will add hedges. If there's anybody here in Athens listening to this,
Hedges.
hedges
Hedges.
and Argyle, but also hedges.
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 Has been a notoriously sketch place for us to play. 2014, we took an L up there. We tied in 1990, barely. I don't know. I don't like playing in Chapel Hill, and I'm not saying it's jinxed or whatever. It's a noon 15 game.
What is you?
nothing
Oh
bad-
God, I hate the ACC.
Nothing bad happens at noon. Nothing spooky happens at noon 15.
It is the weekend after Halloween, though.
It's actually noon and a quarter is the way you say that.
noon and a quarter. Okay,
Noon and a quarter.
quarter till half past noon. How's that?
Quarter to half.
Yeah, that makes sense.
That makes sense, but also no.
It took me a minute, but it makes sense.
Math is hard.
Classic,
Clock math is hard.
classic Georgia Tech over engineering.
So line is Tech by 5 right
Tech
now.
by
The last time I checked,
5. That's what the show notes say.
I feel like it should be Tech by 10. So I'm gonna take Tech to cover.
Well, they give UNC the 3-point slide for being at home. In making the odds. I
Hey,
don't
it's
know.
like 2.5.
Hey, I'll have you know that their attendance is down this year. Probably because they took 12,000 seats out of the stadium last
It's
year.
like
by
they're
putting
a
in chair
basketball
backs.
school.
It's almost like they're a basketball school. Thank you.
But then
Akshay.
again, I can't really say anything considering they've made the ACC title game more recently than we have.
Are we a basketball school?
We're a women's volleyball school.
Are we a women's volleyball school?
Women's tennis?
men's golf, women's tennis, maybe softball this year. Except we did lose to West Georgia.
League of
last week.
Legends.
Yeah, that's what
Club swimming, yeah, woo!
No.
Yeah,
League of
woo!
Legends.
Georgia Tech swimming.
League of Legends.
Did you even take drown proofing?
I did not take. Can we bring back drown proofing? I kind of wanted to do that. Like I read about it and I was like, that sounds like it built character. Like you know when you talk to somebody. And
This
they're
is
just-
like Larry Fedora talking
They-
about how football builds American honor.
You just hold them under for a minute, and when they come up, they're stronger. The oxygen strengthens the brain, makes it steel. I think that's how
It's like forming. I learned about that in design and manufacture today. You know, it makes all the grains go.
All right, we're starting to turn into a manufacturing podcast now. And I
Akshay
hate
doesn't
that.
understand what that is because he's
I'm
not
a
an
CS
engineer.
major. I'm not a real engineer.
Cade's an economical engineer.
Yes, sir.
Financial engineer? Stocks engineer?
He knows curves.
Nice.
Nice.
Oh yeah.
But yeah, no.
Just like Atlanta United's points total this year. Nice.
No supporter shield.
Shut up. We're not talking about it. Anyway, what we
You
are
told
talking
me
about
6
next.
weeks ago you were gonna win that.
Did they
Talking about it.
They lost.
I don't want to talk about it.
They're
I don't want to
trash.
talk about it. I don't want to talk about it. The Atlanta Sports did. I don't want to talk about it.
It's still the regular season. It doesn't even matter. It doesn't matter. Playoffs are all that matters.
God, you're such an American. Anyway, let's talk about another great American, possibly the sport's greatest American that runs the triple option, Mr. Paul Johnson, and his big balls calls of the week. So last week, the gang here went 2-2. Mr. Cade, how did you do?
I think I did good. I picked Baylor. I picked West Virginia over Baylor in like the Battle of the Deplorables or something. I forgot what I called it.
Yes, it was the
The
battle.
basket case.
No, it was definitely deplorables.
It
Yeah.
had the word deplorables. The bowl of deplorables. That's maybe what
Deplorable?
Deplorable.
Said it
Oh
first.
my goodness.
Said it first.
Wow, y'all are good. Okay. I picked West Virginia probably by a lot, which they won by a lot. So I'm gonna say I was right, even though I don't think I technically am, but I don't know.
You did good. How about this week? What you got cooking this week?
Pittsburgh versus everyone. I need you to applaud this. Number 23, Virginia.
God.
Didn't you hear me say applaud?
No. Please clap. Are you, Mr. Brady Hoke? Please clap.
Bronco Mendenhall. He is now a higher ranking than he has ACC players on his roster.
Oh,
27 players, and he's number 23. That's very impressive. Good work by the.
your clones are very impressive, Mr. Mendenhall.
UVA has a significantly better chance at winning the Coastal than anybody else. I think last time I saw they had a 16% chance of beating Clemson in the ACC championship game.
What?
I think I picked them to finish last in my coastal.
Most
preview this
common
year.
sense people did.
Didn't they lose? They lost to Indiana this year. They lost to Indiana. They're bad. I'm sorry, Mom. If you're listening to this, your school is bad. Like,
Oof.
I'm embarrassed for the Coastal. I'm embarrassed for the Coastal.
The Coastal is kind of a dumpster fire this year, if we're being completely honest.
They're ranked. They're the only ranked. That's so stupid. That's
Where's
just
Miami?
really
I thought Miami was back.
No.
Where?
But I'm gonna take.
Mark Richt has lost control of Miami.
Mark Richt, come sell me some Fords, man.
I'm taking Pittsburgh. Just by the way,
What?
Division
outright.
or the division?
It's a 7.5 point line towards Virginia.
Oh, for the
It's
game.
Virginia.
I was still talking about the division. Sorry, I'm tired.
Virginia.
I took a shot.
Duke almost lost to Duke. No. Did Duke beat Pittsburgh by a lot, or did they almost
Pittsburgh's
lose?
3-1 in the ACC.
I hate this division so much,
Yeah.
so much. Save me, Tom Cruise.
Who's up?
Tom Cruise. What a guy. Also,
Speaking of Tom
also,
Cruise,
if we had just beat Pitt or Duke, we could be in the driver's seat for the division. And you know how much different that would be right now? We'd be talking about Georgia Tech, 5-3 Georgia Tech, in their easy path to the conference championship game. That's a big difference right there.
I know a quarterback who could have done
I know a quarterback that
Does his
almost
name
did that.
Rhyme with Tustin Jamas? 'Cause
Also,
R.I.P.
yes.
that.
Justin.
Yes, that one too.
I missed that kid,
So do I. That one
even
too.
though he's older than me. Sorry, Justin. I'm excited for the Atlanta Legends, by the way, because Justin signed with the Legends, right?
I
Is he
think
still
Georgia
on the
Tech is within their recruiting range or signable range. As
Okay.
far as I
Because
was,
there's
I
a lot
understand
of
the way
former
that
Tech
it.
players there. If we're talking about
The AAF is a weird league. They have each of them has like territories that they can of schools that they can take players from. It's very odd.
so I could get a JT Atlanta Legends jersey.
You could, but also their color scheme is
It is
very
gross.
weird.
It is gross.
What is
that
it?
the purple like New Orleans one?
Yo, Kansas City Chiefs media. If you listen to this, can I have a Butker jersey?
Yes,
If we're-
please.
if
Make
we're
that
dreaming?
two. Make that two.
Cade, you want one?
Those are so cool.
Let's go.
Make
let's
it
go
three.
And Timberwolves, if you're out there, we'll take 3 at Kogi's too.
Yeah.
Those are really cool.
Those are some dope jerseys. I saw some guy at the Rish homecoming concert. I don't know how you say this.
Ray
word.
Schmurmerd?
I don't know. There's a lot of consonants. GT marketing. If you're out there, I'm sorry I said it wrong, but good job, guys. We didn't talk about that last week.
I
did
thought we did.
I don't know. I can't remember, but it was a good reveal. I hope Marcus Watson enjoyed his time here.
Let's not get into that
We
one.
don't have
This
to
is
get
a
into it.
football podcast today.
It is a football.
We're
podcast.
saving the basketball stuff for a couple weeks from now when they actually start their season. Basketball season starts on November 9th against Lamar.
Against Lamar. It's very soon. They've got an exhibition on Saturday against Florida Tech, and the women have an exhibition against Coastal Georgia on Sunday at 2 p.m.
Yes,
So if you're around on the flats,
interesting. But time to get back to the picks.
the big balls.
Mr.
calls of the
Grant.
week. Wait, we never talked about my pick last
I
week.
know we're working on it. We're
All
getting
right,
there
all right.
next, Mr.
All right.
Grant.
So Clemson headed down to the Hogwarts on the Swamp.
Please tell me that's not actually what they call that.
No, it's disgusting, and it's a giant castle made out of bread.
Well, you got the
snow,
warts
so-
part right.
Cool. But yeah, no. So the joke at Doak was just as pathetic as I always dreamed it would be. Sorry, Florida State. Might want to go back to not losing. I don't know. That was probably more fun for them. Guys, we're better than Florida State this year. Isn't that cool?
Don't say that. Don't say that.
I
I mean, we'll never find out because
Well-
neither of us are going to the.
We'll never find out, but you heard it here first, kids. Yeah, no. Number 2, Clemson beat the free seafood out of them. Seminoles lost 59-10. For a while, it was charting to be their worst shutout at Doak ever, and then Clemson's like 17th stringers. I don't know, like some English major and like the guy who's like scooping ice cream downtown and probably like the guy that rings the bells in Tillman were mopping up by the second quarter at that point. So good job, Tigers. You did exactly what you needed to, and you won. I don't know. You beat the spread. People probably got a lot of money for that.
You won a lot of money if you bet the over on that one.
I think we should have a reunion for playing Florida State. You reminded me. I want to have a reunion. So a replay of the 2012 and also 2014 ACC championship games. I'm challenging you right now, Florida State. After
Calling
this
him out?
So like,
Can I
so
use
like,
this as
instead
clickbait
of
on the article?
Yes.
Cade challenges who?
Who?
instead of playing in Charlotte, we should play them in like some random
Tampa.
town halfway. No, some random town halfway between here and Tallahassee in like a high school stadium.
Valdosta?
Yeah, like Valdosta High. I
God.
Macon?
guess that's a
no,
thing.
not Macon. Macon is closer.
We
to
got
Raleigh.
Mercer. We play at
Savannah
Mercer
would be
Stadium.
fun. Savannah's half-ish.
Like a neutral site.
Eh,
The world's largest nerd and other party. I don't know. Knock off UGA in Florida.
I don't think it's really a world's largest. That'd just be
World's saddest.
world's largest context switch.
Sure, let's go with that.
Incongruency?
World's largest gaggle of very
Oh.
misfit people.
Savannah is so equidistant.
Like straight up?
4.5 hours.
What's the biggest stadium in Savannah? Football stadium.
Wherever Savannah State plays.
Football? Oh dear.
Oh dear.
Let's just like take like a big grassy space next to like the airport runway and just put in a bunch of temporary bleachers. It's probably bigger than whatever.
Is that
Savannah
basically
State's
what
got.
happened in the
Georgia
finale
Tech-
of Blue Mountain State?
Georgia Tech's got a Savannah campus. There's probably some land around there.
Isn't it a
Let's go
joint
play it
campus
at
with
Georgia Tech
SCAD?
Savannah. I don't know. Is that why we always swim against SCAD?
Probably.
Ugh.
No, that's just because our coach has some interesting decisions on scheduling.
And the new guy was nice though, so shout out new guy. I wish them well. Go Jackets! They're up to 17th in the poll, so good for them.
Nice.
Good.
All right.
Go Sports.
So Ethan, who's not here sadly because Cade, what's his injury? What's on his injury report this week?
Oh, he forgot to answer in the form of a question on Jeopardy.
Oh,
He's still recovering.
yeah, you hate to see it.
Trebek
just-
is mean about that stuff, man.
Yes, it is.
He's savage. He called out some kid on like Kids Week a couple weeks ago.
Ever since Sean Connery got in his head, Trebek just hasn't been the same.
They took him off his Disney ride too. It's a shame.
Sad. Anyway, Ethan had number 25, App State versus Georgia Southern. App State was favored by 8.5, and oh boy, they did not get 8.5 in this game.
They did not. They went down to Statesboro and
Oof.
Yikes.
Statesboro, or Georgia Southern, and the option walloped them in
did they still
Statesboro.
run the option down there? Didn't they?
Where?
Didn't they can?
No, that was Van Gorder.
Van Gorder canned it.
Van
then
Gorder trashed it. He was like, "There is no option."
That's the whole Joey Weaver's article from 2015.
Also,
when-
if
when
you've never
viral.
read that, go read it. It's funny.
I would personally like to see Joey come out of retirement to rehash that and send it to our boys over at Card Chronicle. But yeah,
Oof.
shout out Louisville. Good
But
job,
yeah,
kids.
so Georgia Southern won by 20 and got their first win over a ranked team ever. So shout out fellow option bros down
Yeah.
there. But rip Ethan's record in our picks. I don't even know if we're keeping track of those.
He's 0 Infinity.
Probably. That seems legit.
That's
Yeah,
from my count.
seems legit.
But in other news, I also did not win
did terrible,
last week.
Akshay.
I did even worse.
He
Probably.
thought a 2-5 Navy team
Hey,
was going to be
it
Notre
looked-
Dame in a neutral site game, but we all know there's going to be more Notre Dame fans out there.
It was it was only in San Diego because of the proximity to the naval base.
Yeah, but Notre Dame,
I mean, no, there are Notre Dame fans everywhere.
exactly.
They're all sleeper agents. Like I thought this game was going to be a sleeper upset for Navy, and it wasn't. Notre Dame won by 22. It was not fun. It was not fun to watch. It was not fun to read about later. And yeah, we're on to for number 20, Fresno State, who's a 25
This
point
is this week's,
favorite.
to be
Yes.
clear.
This
is
week.
Akshay's new pick.
We're on to number 20, Fresno State, who's a 25-point favorite versus UNLV.
That prestigious educational institution.
Yeah, UNLV, who's in their near future sharing a stadium with the Las Vegas Raiders or whatever.
Because NFL stadiums shared with college teams always go well.
Yeah, that Las Vegas tax bondugal.
I stand when they stand.
I'm thinking about the end zones on Sunday. Oh my gosh, they were so ugly.
Oh, with the Rams stadium?
the
Yeah.
Rams.
That was
And the
bad.
scratched out Pac-12 logo.
It wasn't even
on the
scratched
25
out. They
line.
just tried to. It wasn't even scratched out. It was just
They cut
faded.
it.
No, it was just faded.
They probably got that Michigan guy to come like cleat them.
That's a good reference. That's a good reference.
Big Ten football. Woo!
Big Ten football sucks. But you know what doesn't suck? Some Mountain West Conference action.
Because it blows.
But Fresno State is arguably the best group of 5 team in the nation if you don't count defending national champions UCF.
Who's ranked like
Stop.
9th
That is
now,
not,
right?
Don't stop. Don't
Defending
That's stupid.
Who said don't
national
stop?
champions UCF.
They ducked Georgia
F.
Tech,
They did.
led by Taquan Marshall.
They knew they would have lost.
They knew they would have lost. We offered them our stadium. We offered them.
Hey, they're coming back in 21.
Cowards.
I don't want them in 21.
I want them now. I want them last year, and I want to
Do
go
you
to that
really
bowl.
want them now? Do you
2021,
really?
boy, we're talking about Gus Malzahn-Tron 2.0, his like robot son.
Get on the Gus bus. John Heisman's on the Gus bus. You on the Gus
John
bus?
Heisman. I'm not sure he lived to see any sort of bus.
Yeah, that's fair. Yeah.
I don't know about that one, boss. But I'll take Fresno
He
State.
did leave town on a steam train, so
They're
Jeff
ranked.
Tedford.
Why
They're
are they
ranked number 20th. They were good. Jeff Tedford.
good.
Derek Carr, rest in peace.
Derek Carr, rest in peace. I know you cried on a football field last week, but
He did?
yes,
Did his mascara?
allegedly, his fragile masculinity. I don't know where I'm going with this joke.
His mascara, not his masculinity.
His masculinity ran right out of the building when he put on that mascara, I bet.
He looks like an edgy Jehovah's Witness. Just saying. Google image search Derek Carr.
I'm doing it right now.
All right.
I don't know about this.
Jehovah's Witnesses, Derek Carr.
Oh, I spelled Derek very wrongly. Oh, no, we're gonna... I don't want to... I got a birth announcement for a Jehovah Witness named Derek Carr.
Was that from Reddit?
I think it was on Reddit.
No, you need a Facebook. There it is. There it is.
Is that what a Jehovah's Witness looks like? I don't
I don't
can't
know about
say
that
I
one.
know a lot of them.
Yeah.
I can see him knocking on my door.
Can I interest you in a Cabin Weekend t-shirt?
Actually, they're not going to understand our references from the Rumble Seat things.
Can I interest you in only one win this season?
That's more relatable.
That's more
There you
relatable.
go.
Mm-hmm. Well, we've already blown by that by 4 times.
That's
so
evergreen.
that's good for us.
See, people will listen to this podcast in like 30-20, and they'll be like, "Ha, Georgia Tech was only winning one game back then too." That's funny.
They got some bread.
Not very much of it.
Not very much of it. Some crumbs.
They need Jesus.
They need some milk.
They need some Derek Carr.
No.
Anyways,
Not the Derek Carr that plays for the Raiders. Maybe the baby.
maybe by 30-20 he'll be leading that team. Anyways,
Everyone we know will be dead by 30-20, but
Akshay, don't be so dark. Anyways, but you're also realistic. Clearly, I can handle death well. So my pick this week, speaking of death, is Notre Dame, number 3, visiting beautiful Ryan Field in Evanston, Illinois.
Evanston.
Gotta love Notre Dame fans and Northwestern fans. This is a game that rings near and dear to my heart, and in order to pick this game, I'm going to be looking at the Friday weather in Evanston, because if the wind is out of the northeast off the lake, it is going to be cold the next day. And right now, the wind all day until 7 p.m. is trending out of the northeast, which I think spells bad sign for the Domers. So they might not cover, but Northwestern is also trash. So go figure. The stadium is going to be full of Domers because Chicago is full of Notre Dame fans, and I don't like that. The tickets are going for about $102 on ESPN. There's 1,250 of them left in a stadium that is not that big.
How big is it?
I believe it's...
The proper answer was not that big, again.
Ryan Field seats 47,000. Yeah, that's what I was about to say. 47,130. I assume a lot of those are going to be Notre Dame fans. I think that ticket price is going to go down because they're going to not be able to sell 1,200 to ambivalent Northwestern fans on a cold, gross night in Chicago, and Notre Dame is going to blow that line out of the water. So
Northwestern is sneaky, though.
Northwestern is sneaky, which is why I think this will be an interesting game to watch. It's on ESPN. It's your 7:15 p.m. game. So
add that one to your tasting menu.
Tasting
that
menu,
that's
especially
one to
in
watch.
the first half. The wind will be good. You're going to want to be playing to not be kicking into the south end zone late at night because the wind's going to be out of the south.
You also want to stay out of the south side of Chicago.
Evanston is about as far from that as you can be.
Exactly.
Good for them. With all them gold on that helmets, I don't know if Notre Dame would make it back to South Bend.
All them gold on that helmet.
All them gold.
All them
It's
gold.
It's a 3-hour bus ride back to South Bend.
It's yes, I have driven that drive many times. Sadly, but yeah, no. My heart's with the Wildcats, but my money's with the Fighting Irish.
Are you gonna lock that one in?
I'm gonna lock that one in. Notre Dame's gonna.
Imagine we
take
just
the
played
line.
some sort of locking sound. We don't have our soundboard
Click.
because Cade has been lazy, but
What I'll do verbally whatever one you want.
Ding.
like a lock.
Spurrier.
Spurrier!
Spurrier.
That guy is scary. I watched that the other day. I don't know why I watched it, but
He needs some milk.
he looks like he's just like human milk, like that.
He's weird. I think this
he is weird.
podcast is starting to get weird. So
Yeah,
we should
it's
we
been
should
weird
probably
for a while.
call
We've
it.
been spending like 20 minutes on the big balls calls. Cade, what's your pick?
I already went.
You went Virginia versus Pittsburgh.
Yeah.
Yeah, we had a conversation about how Virginia was ranked.
I missed all. Oh wait, we did because I talked about Indiana. Wow, sorry.
He only remembers the Big Ten games. Sad. Not a true.
I took a couple shots to the head in water polo tonight, so let's just chalk it up to that. Noted neurologist Larry Fedora is going to help me out though.
Dr.
I twittered him, so we're good.
Dr. Fedora, hopefully he can get you back to 100% and not just send you back into the game like Brady
You think
Hoke.
he'll give me a free trip up to Chapel Thrill for the weekend?
No.
Oh, that's
Would
not
you want
fun.
that? Why would you want that?
Because Franklin Street, man, it's a pretty fun town. I don't know.
You're underage.
I am underage, but that doesn't mean you can't have a nice burger and some ice cream. Because that's wholesome fun. Go Jackets. Go Wholesome Podcast. Get your mind out of the gutter, Akshay.
Yikes. Anyway, I think that kind of brings us to a nice little end to another episode of Signs of the Southland. Mr. Lawson, where are you available online?
They need to go listen to a previous episode if they want to find where I'm available. I'm tired of saying it every single time. So
Why
I'm on
can't you just
Twitter,
play along?
Twitter, Facebook,
Google Plus?
probably, honestly.
Oh, my Google
TRS
Plus is
Cade.
still up there. somewhere.
Your information was probably stolen, but it's fine.
Oh, happy birthday to my dad. It's his birthday
Aww.
today. If he still listens to this podcast, happy birthday to him.
Aww.
Also, happy birthday to Halloween almost.
Yes. Yeah. Awkward. Continue, Mr. Grant.
All right. So, if you guys would like to...
Oh, no. He has the Millennial Dictionary pulled up.
Oh, God.
If
stop
y'all would
listening
like to
now.
dish with me on the Twitters, hustle and yeet on over to my very extra Twitter page. It's quite the squad.
Please
I'm always
help.
on that grind.
Please help.
We can dish some tea about everything from...
Jesus Christ.
I don't know. That's what the youths are saying.
Okay, mister, I'm 19.
I'm 20.
Close enough.
I'm a man. I'm 40.
That's not funny
That's
when you
Mike
do
Gundy.
it.
Sorry, Mike Gundy. You're the real MVP. You made Oklahoma.
You don't have a
State
mullet.
relevant.
Boo.
There was a time
All
when
right,
I was
petition.
close.
I'm going to leave a poll on this on this podcast on the article.
I'm not
Vote
throwing out
in
a
that if you want Jake to grow out a mullet.
I'm
He'll do it for I guess no
We'll do
haircut
it for
November.
Five votes.
no.
No haircut November.
Yeah, there's. Well, you're so basic, Akshay.
No
You're hitting me
haircut.
right in the feels. Let's get turned. Come on, goals. Wow, I think I hit.
Please close
I
this.
hit every word on the list. Let's go to Nash Vegas this weekend. All right, there's the rest.
Why was Nash Vegas on that list?
Because the women's tennis played at Vanderbilt, silly.
Got him.
Yikes.
He's got nothing. I think I win. From the Rumble Seat commentary, did I win?
From
Did
the
I lose?
Bastion.
From the Bastion. The commentariat, I respect all of y'all very, very deeply. Yes. Also, shout out Akshay for the uniform guy, my favorite new column on the
God damn
website.
it. I was going to do a uniform review in this episode, but we've already gone past 45 minutes. So,
Oh, yikes.
Oh, man.
yeah, we should...
We won't get the Akshay life uniform.
TLDR,
This is a
never
style
pair...
right now.
Never pair a gold helmet, a gold chrome helmet, and a gray uniform at Minnesota. You're doing it wrong, and you're awful.
But they would have been.
You
really,
have bad
It
hot
would have been
takes.
really easy to see their helmets in the snowstorm they were inevitably going to get in the middle of October up there. Come on, son.
You had one job.
Boo your opinion. Boo.
Come on, man.
I had one job to decide the Minnesota costume attire.
They sucked. Those uniforms sucked. They got a D.
They were lit. Get
That does
turned.
not curve at the
Goals.
University of Minnesota.
You're just salty. You need some milk. Gross. Shots fired.
Throwing shade.
Oh, throwing shade.
Yikes. But for
Yikes. There's another one.
No, it's yike. The millennials are saying yike.
the singular
no S.
yike. But for that guy over here on the other side of the table, Mr. Cade Lawson, and the other guy over here on the third side of the table, basically, Mr. Jake Grant, this is your host, Akshay Ishwaran, signing off. And we will see you
I'm trapped in the
next
basement of the
side
MRDC.
on the flats. Peace out.